everyone, you have no idea who I have with me today. Not only we are moving forward to have more and more founders, business owners, business experts with us here, but we also have someone whose first name is French and the last one is Italian, but he's from Switzerland. Crazy. How are you doing, Cedric? Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine as well. Thank you for asking, my friend. For those who don't know, Cédric Marveggio here is the founder of Profile Bakery. You might have seen his work around, but remember when AI hit us and we had those awful profile pictures in LinkedIn, Instagram, and we needed to sound and look more professional? That's where Cedric's tool comes into place. Cedric, why don't you talk a little bit about who you are, the things you do, so that the people can, of course, get to know you and like you the same way that I'm already liking you.
Perfect, thank you. Yes, I try to present me a little bit to the listeners. Yes, as you already mentioned, I'm from Switzerland, and yeah, first of all, I started my career in marketing some years ago. Yes, I think my first real job in marketing was in a winery, in a quite old winery. They have a
Really?
history over 300 years. So, and there I learned the basic things in marketing, in SEO, in how to build up things. And that's already what led me to my first own project, which was my barkeeper, where I built up
Okay.
a brand with friends for drinks. So we started there with the hard alcohol, but that's in my mind it's an interesting topic because Swiss laws are really restrictive there. So,
Oh,
for
okay.
example, we could offer a Victor prize, but I couldn't give a discount. So the law is very restricted, and you need to know how to handle it. So it's not as easy as selling wine or beer because there you could say it's 50% off, like the classical marketing tricks you are using. Later on, I worked at the car subscription brand where I built up the marketing from scratch, and then I worked in an international moving company before I landed in the photo business.
Wow.
And there we started first with or we had classical physical locations. And
Okay.
then, as you mentioned, when AI hit, we always wanted to scale the business because physical locations are harder to scale. And yeah, we also needed to be prepared for the future. At the moment, both businesses are growing, but we don't know when the tipping point will come that all people just are using AI to make them look beautiful and not Photoshop. So, yeah,
I mean,
that's a little
especially
bit about
because
me.
that's great. I mean, you've done it all. You started in the north and then you went to south, east, and west. It's amazing. You've went to different markets and they all, of course, helped you get where you are right now. Uh, about Profile Bakery, people already now know the theory about it, but overall the results, how it is, how it all started, because we have an audience here of AI sickos who love to use AI and love to talk about AI, same way that I do. But these people also understand that not all AI generate good things. If we're talking about content, pictures, music, drawing, whatever, right? AI sometimes is undercooked, need more time. But we also have a proof of concept here by Profile Bakery where we see good results. We see pictures that make sense, that don't stand out negatively, while at the same time you're also seeing a lot of profile pictures nowadays that looks, you take your eye, you see it's AI, you see that the features are wrong, you see that the color palette is wrong, you see that the person looks nothing like they look in real life. And it's starting to bother people, right? You have, if I remember correctly, Canva, one of the biggest designer tools in the world, now has AI generative pics for profile pictures, right? And they are, again, I know that yours isn't. Why is that? Why is your product good? Why isn't the others as good as yours?
So, I mean to say that with the example of Canva, they are using in the backend another model. They are like three major models. There's the cheapest one, that's the Facetune,
Okay.
and Canva is using that, so you don't use a lot of how do you say it, the server powers. You don't need a lot of time there. So that's why they could do it free, but it goes on the side of the quality. So we also could
Yeah.
offer that, but it would be kind of like self-destroying because the quality isn't not good. Also when we would do it, because it's just, yeah, it doesn't, it's taking enough time to build a good model of your face, stuff like that. But then there are other things which are very critical when you are using AI picture tools. So mostly I could recommend that you check if they are using Flux or not, because that's
Okay.
like the best model. But
Hmm.
also then, yeah, I think you don't see it, but my eyes are brown and green. And
Mm.
when we tested it once, for example, we made photos of me where one eye looked green and the other brown. So the AI will pick up stuff like that. We also had, for example, a client, he's bald now. He uploaded pictures with hair and without, so you also could make it the AI, yeah, hard. So what we recommend people, if you want to have good shots, and I don't say it needs to be with us, but when you are using an AI tool to make pictures of you, that you have like two different backgrounds, that somebody else takes a photo of you, that you really check if you're looking like you. Because people which are doing selfies, they often have like elephant heads and
Okay.
the body of a rabbit, and then they are like, yeah, my head is too big. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
but it's hard for the AI to know how you really look, because even I just see it on a photo, so I don't know how much too big your head is. Or we have
Yeah.
clients, they are uploading pictures where you don't see their eye color because they wear
Okay.
sunglasses, stuff like that. We are filtering it out now, but some people are specialists, I would say, where you don't see it in any picture. So yeah, it's getting quite hard for the AI to create it. So I would say 50% is the model and the prompts in the back end of the provider, and the other 50% is really what the user is uploading, because yeah, when not even your own mother would recognize you, it's also hard for the AI to show you as you really are.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What about, for example, skin color? Is it something that the AI is already making sure to make it right, or still an issue as well?
It depends. I think you now see my face. The left side is very good lightened, and the right side isn't that good lightened.
Shadowy. Yeah.
So that's also an issue with the AI, because depending on the lighting on your pictures, it picks it up more correct or less. So they are like, again, some percentage is based on the input photos, how good it sees your skin. We also had like older clients which weren't happy because you didn't see the wrinkles. I think here you see that I have some here because of too much thinking or whatever, but they uploaded pictures with like 30 kilobytes or something, so really small pictures where even I not
Yeah.
really saw the wrinkles. And that's the same with the skin tone. So depending on the input images, it should be better, but it's not always correct. It's the same with bold. I would say 95% we pick it up correct, but some people, they wear hats or whatever, or the AI thinks from the shadow on their head they have hair, then it could give a mix up. Or when you're uploading pictures with a partner, so that are these things which are sometimes based on the eye because too less training data,
Hmm.
and sometimes based on the input image. One thing we're struggling sometimes with are, for example, hijabs, because there are women which are wearing like a band in their hair or headphones or things like that, which could confuse the AI. So we have the unhappy ones because they don't have a hijab, and the other ones which it could be wrong interpreted as a hijab. So then we need to correct the pictures. I think that's one strong point of our service. If you're unhappy, you have a free second run, where our support also helps you and tells you, hey, look again on these factors. And we are also trying to filter out the bad pictures. But when you just upload bad pictures, yeah, we can't do anything. I hope that answered the question a little
It
bit with a lot of
does.
examples.
No, no, it does. It was great because we all know that even if the model itself can be as powerful as whatever. But if you don't prompt it well enough, nothing good's gonna come out of it, right?
Yes.
And I can see that it's the same here. But now you were mentioning headphones, for example, and out of curiosity, is there is there a way to train these AIs with images of a picture? So like newest iPhone just arrived, newest airport AirPod just arrived. You know that this will be on people's face. Can you like how do you train it? How do you make sure that it eventually understands that this is a headphone?
It's difficult to say because there are some biases the AI has. When you're in every picture where your headphones, the AI thinks it could be a part of your
You
personality. So if you're an earring wearer, I would recommend always to wear earrings in all of your pictures so you also get in the AI version of yourself earrings.
okay.
It's the same like with the clothing. When I'm always doing it in my beige pullover, all my input photos, the AI might could think it's part of my personal brand, which really makes it harder to wear other clothes. But
Makes sense.
yeah, so I would say it really depends on the input data because when it's just in one picture, it's not a big problem. Maybe you have like in the 30 pictures you minimum get one picture with an issue, with that issue. But when you have it in more pictures, it could be resembled in more pictures. So that's why we are guiding our users with example images when they are uploading their picture.
Oh, great to know.
And we also have a tool which gives the user a feedback when uploading the pictures. And then we are also filtering them in the back end.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't filter everything. The more
Yes.
things you try to filter, the more errors you produce yourself, which wouldn't be there. So it's always a little bit about finding a balance between all these things and how much you could let the user do and not lose conversion. Because I mean, we just could allow perfect pictures, but then a lot of people wouldn't book, so that also
Yeah.
would be bad to have more revenue to invest more to get better results for all. Yeah, we also, for example, products. I first thought you were talking about product photos. We also offer that
Hmm.
now. We also have a clothes change. So if you, for example,
Great.
say, "Oh, Cedric had this great pullover," or you have a girl in the interview and you say, "Oh, my wife always talked about having a cool red dress," then you just could change the clothes of a person. So it's great for online shoppers because you don't need to order it when they
It
ask you
is.
for delivery fees.
Yes.
So yeah, we are also working in these directions. If you like, I could send you over an example where you also could try
That's
it
cool.
out yourself after our interview here because I think it's more, yeah, it says more than explaining it when you could test it.
Oh yeah, I agree. Now that you mentioned it over, everybody who's watching it is, and even you, Cedric, every single link about Cedric will be down in the description below. Profile Bakery, the companies that he also works with, his profile so that you can get in touch, talk about AI with Pix and everything else. But I will want to try it out the model. Yes, please.
Perfect.
And it would be great. You were talking of the need to educate the users when they are sending the pictures. Right, you're already giving samples and guidelines of what they need to send. Because, and this has been an ever going conversation about educating your customer base, making sure that they really understand the things that are happening. And the more and more I have conversations like this, the more I can see that it might be just this view that I'm having, but it feels like the user is getting dumber and dumber. The end user is getting maybe dumb might not be the word, but more relaxed, less
Yes,
less
relaxed, I would say.
willing to
But
push himself into trying
but
things.
but there are two sides. I mean, we see a lot of clients, and some they really do good photos. They really extra do pictures for the service. So you have both ends. I mean, we had people they where one photo out of five was good, and on one of their photos they weren't even there. It was a famous
Okay.
German politician. We had dogs uploaded, dream cars, memes, everything. You have both sides. I think it's more like when the smartphones came out, people in the beginning they used like 1% and didn't understand it correct. So yeah, we need to find the balance, and there are
Yeah.
some users like tech geeks which are even would like to set it up themselves to really
Yes.
understand it and do great pictures, and then there are others. they saw it and they think like with their blurry party image with 15 friends they should get a good output, and the majority is somewhere in between. So
Sure. And at the same
yeah.
time, you have personal, you mentioned the term personal branding. It's growing. It's not, it wasn't a thing 10 years ago. We weren't talking about personal branding 10 years ago. And we are now, especially post-COVID, remote era. Everybody have their own podcast. Everybody wants their own branding. It makes sense, right? To have a personal branding like itself. And we know how your tool helps us in getting this better and better. But when you first started it, if I recall, it was in 2023, right? When you started
Yes,
Profile
correct.
Bakery.
Yes.
It's not too long ago. I mean, a year and a half ago, but a lot has changed in a year and a half. How was
Yes.
it back then when you were having your first customers? Did they have the same doubts that the current ones have? Did it change a lot?
Some parts are still the same. For example, data protection is a huge topic.
Oh yeah, makes
That's
sense.
also why we are deleting everything after 30 days. But I think in the beginning it was like more the people which are really tech interested, where it's now coming more and more the less involved people. Like I just quickly in the picture. What also changed, we started just with application photos. Now we have a bigger bigger product variety. So for
Okay.
Christmas, we even had a Christmas package
Ah,
with a
nice.
Christmas sweater and everything like that. So that changed. Process-wise, I mean, we improved a lot.
Hmm.
Updated models, changed models. I've added some more steps in between to get better quality. But on the user side, I mean, the problem is I would say depending on the service, because we are also offering dating service, for example. So you get dating pictures. The problem
Great
still
to
is the
know.
same. So the guy which books a dating picture, he still wants to find his dream girl or boy or
Yeah,
whatever, and the woman which applies or searching for application photos, she just wants a good photo to apply for a job. If she worked before in finance and now will again work in finance, it should be the same style photo as
makes
2
sense.
years ago. So I don't think it changed from the needs, but I think it changed from the people which are using it, because the early
Mm.
adopters, they already used it like in 2023, and now it's coming more and more like everybody is using it, like ChatGPT, which everybody writes the application with. So it's the same, but it's yeah, I would say slower than with ChatGPT.
And now that we have, I mean, I think I can be correct to say that now it's becoming mainstream, right? Having AI picks, just like ChatGPT is now mainstream. And once
Yeah.
we're talking to a more diverse customer base, we also have to diversify our communication, content, marketing strategies, how we approach them. It gets all different problems that you didn't have before. Are you at this current moment passing through the situation where, having to educate, having to welcome new customers, having to set expectations because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have their expectations up in the roof,
Oh yeah.
thinking that it will be like a selfie out of a smartphone in terms of realism. But of course, we're still not there anywhere in the world, right?
As I said, it really depends on the pictures you're uploading it, like, and then how much you're zooming in. Because what most people forget, they are doing a photo for LinkedIn. I
Yeah.
mean, or for, let's say, for their CV. The photo is so small, but they
Yeah.
are, because we are delivering it in a drive, and then people see it, and then they double click it, and it gets huge, and they are like, "There's something missing." Yeah, for sure, but if you have somebody in HR which is checking your CV, they don't go so near and see if you have
Yeah, makes
somewhere.
sense. I didn't I never
So,
thought about this. Makes a lot of sense actually. It does.
so yes, and we also have other clients like in the model section where the pictures are a little bit bigger. But for us, it really depends on the product how we diversify it, because mostly, for example, women they have more success in dating. they don't need like as good pictures as men. So mostly men are searching for AI dating pictures. So the page is more based on them. And so we are going service for service, and then some
Okay.
are you aren't sure. I mean, if I don't know, Christmas photos are more searched for men's or women's, and or maybe the woman says to her husband, "Hey, we need some cool Christmas photos," and the husband goes because he forgot to book a studio appointment. He now goes with AI photos. So there where it is hard, I would say it's same as everywhere in marketing. You just need to check which is your audience, because when you're selling a dress, you mostly target women. Then, depending on the countries you are working in, you are deciding if you are going with a white woman, with an Asian woman, with a black woman, if something in between. And yeah, we are doing the same because to have everything for everybody would be quite hard, as
Oh
our
yeah.
main markets are Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. So most people here are like, yeah, white, and so it's more themed on them. For example, in Asian countries, I would say our service is a little bit too expensive.
Okay.
So, because we are charging 24 euros for 30 pictures, and I would say in most of the Asian countries you get a photographer cheaper.
Um,
So, it's not like we also see a big difference to the United States, where a headshot starts at $100 and goes up to $500, where we could get in Germany application photos for 60 euros.
mhm.
So Americans are way more likely to use AI because they save way more money.
Money.
Um, so it really depends, yeah, which people we are targeting with which landing page and so on, or with which campaign. So we are tailoring, or we try to tailor it exactly to the target group we try to reach. But sometimes, yeah, you can't tell who wants a classical application photo, because I mean everybody needs it, from the teacher to the bank manager to the CEO to the
Sure.
cleaning lady. They all
Sure.
need it. At least in Germany, it's like everybody does it. In other countries, it's a little bit different.
Oh, I mean, we are in the selfie era. Everybody loves to see themselves, right? Photographs of yourself, selfies, looking at the mirror is something greater nowadays than it was when my father was my age, I imagine. So it does make sense for why the market is blooming for pictures. And then I'm thinking here where it's getting clearer for me that, as you are saying, it depends on the use case, depends on the market, depends on the value, depends on the proposition. But they are all usually for the same thing, which is a professional picture for LinkedIn or a resume. Do you see a future, or at least do you hope for a future where AI will give you so realistic photos that the studios that you currently own will be transformed into something else to help that AI? Or do you see the opposite, where people will get so tired of the AI pics that the real life ones will receive a boom of demand and offer?
I would say it's a little bit. There's no like one way it will go. So we decided to do two brands because we don't want it to steal from one pocket in the other and say, "Wow, our AI service is going great." But there are some people, they just hate it to be in front of a photographer.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
So they would always like choose the AI solution because they don't need to
Makes
be
sense.
out of control in front of somebody posing whatever. Then there are others which they love human interaction. They always would go to the photographer, even if it's like 3 times the price of an AI solution. And then there's the mainstream, which I think they will shift towards AI, because I mean you could do it laying hangover in your bed on Sunday morning because you need a new job, because you just live for the weekend. So you
Yeah.
do it this way. Another guy works next to a photographer, so it's easier to go in his favorite suit to the photographer. But I think the majority will go towards AI. But what people love most about the studio photography, in the end, not always in the beginning, is the interaction
Sure.
with the photographer, which talks with them. It's like, for what are you applying? Hey, Victor, you are applying for SEO, so we should do it like that way. I had like 50 clients before which are going for SEO. It always worked great when you're like that, confident but not like arrogant, stuff like that. Or are you applying as a lawyer? We should have like a more self-confident pose because you will fighting in court to get right. So yeah, it's both sided, but I think the market will shift to AI sooner or
Yeah,
later.
I asked this in purpose just because you do have this conversation of AI stealing jobs, and I wanted to hear from you about it. And I think it's more than clear that AI won't steal photograph photographic studios, anything else that is related to personal branding. If the person who wants to have the best picture ever and has the money to do so, they'll go to the studio. If it's somebody starting who, as you say, doesn't have a lot of things going on or doesn't care, doesn't like to be on camera, they go to AI. So it's not gonna be a replacement. It's gonna be an alternate path at the end of the day.
Yes, correct. And I think there are some areas where people always will prepare a real photographer. Like if you're thinking about a wedding, you
A
don't
wedding,
want
yeah.
to have fake pictures. I mean, maybe some
Mm-mm.
influencers, they want to have like perfect 500 people cheering to them. They maybe
Sure.
would use AI, but I would say the average person, they want to have like the real memories with the people which were there. Or if you say an event photographer, I think there it will be still the photographer. Maybe somebody without knowledge of publishing or polishing techniques could do it then. So
Sure.
it could get cheaper for that, but there you want like the real people in your club because when it comes out that you own a club and nobody was there and everything is fake, yeah, it would
Makes
be
sense.
really bad publicity.
You would. You would. And then, with all of this said, are you happy of where you are right now? Are you happy with how the technology is evolving, how the customer is getting into you, how you are able to set the expectations in the correctly manner? Is everything going well at your end?
I think in a small company it's always the same. Everything should be done faster, and you would love
Oh,
to
yeah.
be like 20 steps ahead. We have a lot of like projects to either bring the costs down of production, but also leveraging the quality. Then you have on marketing terms and on front end terms like yeah, a lot of projects or on the SEO side or social media where we want to do a lot more
Mhm.
partnerships. So I would say it's going on, but I mean it could be
Nice.
faster. So yeah,
It's
as we
the
go.
the could be faster, but then again, you could lose control over something. Maybe the output wouldn't be as ideal, and we just circled back into what AI is, right?
Yes, correct.
We
Yes.
just circled
So
back. It depends on the prompt, on what you do, on what you expect, and that's how it is nowadays.
yes. So yeah, a lot is going on. So we will have a lot
Happy,
of new
happy for you.
things. So yeah, we will see it at the end of the year if I'm happy.
Now, everybody who's watching this will definitely keep an eye out for your website, and we'll see how it's growing. I'm sure of it. I do have one last question before we go,
Yes.
Cedric, which I always ask my guests. Uh, Now you are the founder of Profile Bakery. You're having your own, you're fighting your own battles. You know what to do. You already learned a lot about what not to do. But we
Yes.
always have, yes, absolutely, right? But we
Yes.
always have people here watching us that are entering into the adult life, now starting their marketing careers, now starting their careers overall. What would you advise these people today, starting today, about founding their own company if that's what they want, or about their personal branding, about the things that you learned? Is there a one advice that you always give or that you would like to give here?
I think it's a difficult question because it
It is.
really
I always leave it for the
depends.
best, and I don't let my guests know that they're going to have this question. So I do it on purpose. Yes.
Um, so I think it depends when you're starting your own company. The first thing you need to do is you need to check if it really sells. I mean,
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's a car, if it's a jacket, if it's an AI solution. First, you need to know that people buy it. It could be that you write like 50 people if they would be interested in AI pictures for their personal branding, or it could be you're setting up a landing page or whatever. I would start with that because when nobody buys it, because it's like too expensive in the end, because you're building a mini rocket to go around the globe very fast, but it costs like 3 million, and all the super rich are telling you, why should I go in this small bucket? I have my private jet, it's more comfortable. You don't have clients, so that's the first thing I would check. And then
Okay.
the second thing is I would start in a niche, which is big enough, but like in SEO terms, check the keyword difficulty and don't go for the biggest one. For example, when you're trying to be the number one for red wine, it will be much harder than if you're trying to be the number one for like red wine from Switzerland or from a
Oh, yes.
small region in Switzerland. So you will have faster success, and I think like these small wins motivates, or at least motivates myself when I see, oh, it's going on, something good is happening, and not working like 6 months to see finally something coming up because I
And I
targeted
agree.
the keyword red wine. So I
Yeah.
think that are my two most important ones. And then the third one is if you already know somebody which did something like you would like to do. Is it like owning a cafe? Is it doing a clothing brand? Speak with them because they know way more than somebody which just works in
Yeah.
SEO or social media for your niche, because a lot of people try to copy from big brands, but
Hmm.
this stuff doesn't work because it just works for them because everybody knows Tesla. So if they are just would go with a car with their logo on, it would work, but
It's
if
enough,
people
right?
know to Google it, yeah,
Yep.
and you're a small brand, so nobody knows your logo. So you need like the website on your ad or a QR code or something like that, and Apple or Tesla, they just print the logo on there, and you know they have a new MacBook or a new car, and people would go then on their website. So
Yeah, you're right. I agree. I agree. It makes sense. Being niched will make sure that you have less competition. But then, as you said, don't go for the nichest niche ever, right?
yes,
Go for something that is will become mainstream in the future, and then maybe you can profit even more. But I agree. I 100% agree, and I think it's a good advice. Thank you. Thank you for that.
welcome.
Cedric, that's the time we have, my friend. It was simply stunning knowing more about the AI market in terms of pictures. I had next to no idea before talking to you, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people here have learned from you as well. The only thing that I will ask you is please come again. Let's talk more in the future once you have even more to show because it is an interesting topic. You are an interesting person, and we need to make sure that people learn more from you and be
Thank
here
you a
for
lot.
you. So that's
It
that's
was
the
a
main goal
pleasure.
here. Yeah, no, the
Thank you.
pleasure was all mine, my friend. For everybody else staying here, you know where to find us. Cedric's links will be down in the description. I'll be here in the next video, but then until there, please, you all take care and bye bye. Bye, Cedric again. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you. Bye.